purchase of a condo is an interesting proposition for young people, for older people, for anyone who's looking for, in principle, no trouble. Right? That's the usual expression. We say buying a condo, you're buying a hotel. People think sometimes that buying a condo is just like that. Well, that's not the way it goes. Buying a condo, I would say, is a much more complex proposition, because when somebody buys a unit, that person thinks that he owns everything, but in fact he doesn't own much. You know, he just very often owns thin air in the middle of walls, and other people with what's called a syndicate of ownership owns the rest. So that condo owner will be involved with a lot of other people, dealing with a lot of issues in common with others. In principle, that's one thing that a person has to remember when that person purchases a condo. The use of the great utility of using a real estate broker, a professional, is that that person has done it in the past, that person is licensed, that person carries insurance, and that person has a great deal of experience, most often than not, in purchasing condo units. So what the real estate broker does is certain verifications, basic verifications, sometimes very detailed verifications for the purchaser, and sometimes for the vendor, and sometimes for both. So the real estate broker is a facilitator, a knowledgeable facilitator, an experienced facilitator, and a person who can guide both sides towards a transaction that once it gets to the notary will have all the information and the qualities and the whatever is required for the notary to act and have a smooth transaction. Because very often people arrive at the notary's office, the deal is made, everybody is exchanging the keys, but the information has not been exchanged. So very often the notary finds himself in a situation where he doesn't have sufficient information to carry the transaction properly. That's what a good real estate broker will do for the purchaser, and as I just said, also sometimes for the vendor or for both. That's why basically one should always use the services of a real estate broker for a condo transaction.